Lydia's is our second best performing podcast.
You're not first yet.
It's almost right. Chances at 1.9. Lydia's at 1.8.
Well, it's good for her too because Chance was such a that was kind of a random pop off. You know what I mean? And Lydia's is like not really random. It's you know what I mean? Like Chance's was because of her huge following. We were like, oh, there's a chance that this goes well, and it did. But with Lydia's, it's like, okay, we're just gonna tell the story, see how it goes. But it's another great example of the Dylan and Brandon Curry thing that we always talk about.
Story, man. It's a story, dude. That's what people want. It's good. It's good to show that.
Yeah.
You know, Brian's not some famous guy, but Brian's
about to
got a
be.
fucking story.
He's about to be.
Ready for this? I don't even know what I'm gonna get into my donut, but
just please don't chew it into the mic, please.
I won't, man. I'll sit
Dana won't watch it.
All right.
Yeah.
Ready to roll? Mm-hmm. I'm gonna introduce a donut before I introduce you because I gotta save the best for last.
That's fine.
The important shit.
That way, when you're like introducing yourself, I can be eating it.
That's perfectly fine.
All right. Ready to roll? What is up, everybody? This is Joe Adams, and welcome to the Relentless Pursuit podcast. As always, we got my man Logan Hyder of Cinema 83 LLC here.
What's up?
Doing his thing.
What's up?
And also,
the guest today is a non-animate object.
So we got my Project Donuts. Our guest brought my favorite donuts because they moved, so they're like 30 minutes away, and I just don't have the time to get there. But he's from that area, and so he stopped by. Or you're from close to there?
Yeah, about 20 minutes away.
20 minutes. So he stopped by on the way, scooped up some of these babies, and this is my favorite. This is a toasted butter pecan, I believe this is a flavor.
Yes.
Anyways, you know, I ran rave about these donuts, and I've never been a donut fan. And then I had these donuts, and I thought to myself, this is one of the best things I've ever had in my life. And so I've had like this addiction to them. Fortunately, it's just like once a week, and you know, I usually get like 5, 6, 7 of them. Crush them. So I only, he still brought a bunch. So I'm like, oh shit, well, I guess I'll just keep eating them. Regardless, this is the best flavor and I'm very stoked for this. And I wanted to introduce this before him because while he's introducing himself, I'm going to eat it. Now today,
dude, take a breath. Dude, relax.
The most important part of this is our wonderful guest, Mr. Brian Hannaway.
Thank you.
So Brian and I go back a little bit. He's been a long time part of Relentless Pursuit.
One of the best. I just want to say one of the best supporters that we have. He's always commenting great comments. He's always watching he's a Patreon member. You're
the greatest, the most consistent dude I know too. Is when it comes down to just like obviously sharing things, showing support, showing up for shit, and you know getting after it every day and displaying that. And so I appreciate the hell out of all that. But Brian, without further ado, tell us just a brief bit about yourself. Tell us what you do, and then we'll take it back a little bit. Just introduce yourself. Right
okay, I'm Brian Hannaway. I'm originally I was born in New Jersey. I grew up in Washington State.
The Great North.
Yes. Moved here when I was 16. I've been living probably about an hour south of Murfreesboro in Winchester, Tullahoma area since 1988. Short stint in the military. We'll talk about that later. Mm-hmm. I'm actually a plant superintendent. We make glass and rubber seals for Nissan vehicles, Subaru vehicles, Fords. I've been there a total of 28 years. Yeah. So, I mean, it was supposed to just be a job for a couple of years, but now I've pretty much made a career out of it. Started on the floor, and now I'm in management. So I just taking it in every day.
You're pretty much running the show there, right?
No,
you're higher up.
Yeah, I'm higher up, yes.
Yeah, I mean, 28 years is a long time.
It is a long time. I left there for a short stint. I left there for more money, and then I came back for more money. So it really worked in my favor.
They were like, Brian, we need you. You're their best. You're their best in the biz. Well, it worked out. And so, and it seems like you're on the way there, dude. 28 years. That's like a long freaking time. Mm-hmm. And, you know, we'll go back to your time in Vietnam.
I'm not that old. I'm probably the oldest RP crew member, but I'm not that old. I thought he was being
serious for a second. I was like, wait a second, that's my grandfather's.
I'm not a grandfather.
I know. I gotta mess with him.
By the way, Joe ate half that donut in the 30 seconds it took him to say what he said.
Oh, dude, I mean,
look at this. Look how much donut is left.
And I was trying to time that,
bro. That was. Look at this dump, bro. There's like nothing. There's like scraps left, dude.
I was taking my time too. Shit.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah,
This man.
I was just listening to you, just casually.
Normally a cup of Joe, you've probably already ate 2.
Oh yeah, and then the thing is, like, I go to a movie and I get popcorn. I mean, I got the popcorn done in the first freaking advertisement commercial.
So you just eat like that in general?
Yeah,
Interesting.
without a doubt, 100%, just inhaling. But that being said, dude, well, you've had a lot going on, and Brian, you've been a part of the team, but we never just got to sit down and chat.
Yeah.
It's always like at events or something, and then you'd think we get to chat there, but then at the events, I'm fucking everywhere.
You're everywhere, yeah.
A, B, and C. I'm trying to like mingle a little bit with everybody too. So we never just had a moment to chat. So this is a perfect opportunity to get to know you, know your story, and let that bring value to the world. So what we want to do now is take it back a little bit.
Okay.
So you said you're from New Jersey. Mm-hmm. What part of New Jersey?
Mount Holly, New Jersey is where I was born.
You know where Somerville is?
Mm-hmm.
That's where my dad's from, so I figured I'd bring that up.
Originally, my family is from England and Scotland, or Ireland and Scotland. Mm. So I've got 2 older sisters and a younger brother.
Okay.
Both of my sisters were born in Scotland.
Nice.
So they had to go through the citizenship program and everything when they turned 16.
Couple Highlanders over there.
Yeah. So I still have a lot of family.
Nice.
That are overseas.
That's sick, man. Hell yeah. So you got very closely connected roots from there.
Yes.
That's awesome. And so, but you lived in New Jersey, then you moved to Washington, and then you moved to Murfreesboro at 16. You are close to Murfreesboro at 16, right?
16 years old.
Yeah.
So moving to the South was a culture shock. I will say that.
Well, tell us.
I mean, we moved from New Jersey to Washington State through my dad's job. He worked at power plants, worked through the military a lot. So growing up in Washington State, Washington State was, it's as northwest as you can get. We're about an hour south of Seattle.
Okay.
So loved the Northwest.
Oh, it was
loved
beautiful.
it.
It was beautiful up there.
It was great. Probably when I was about 12, my dad would take stints at different jobs. He'd be in New Orleans for 4 to 6 months. He'd be in Rochester, New York for 3 months. He was just going everywhere all over the United States. And probably when I was about 16, my mom said, the next time Dad gets a contract, we're moving. We all want to be together. We're moving. So down Arnold Air Force Base, he got a contract.
Oh, yeah, Arnold wasn't too far, yeah.
We moved here summer of 88. And probably I'd say the biggest culture shock was the first day of school.
Oh, yeah. Tell us about that.
So were you a sophomore or freshman? Or?
I was a sophomore.
Sophomore.
So, walking in, probably not being raised in the South, it wasn't really a yes, ma'am, yes, sir. So, first class, the teacher said, call my name. I was like, yeah. She was like, don't you mean yes, ma'am? And without even thinking about it, I was like, shit, I didn't tell my mom that. So it wasn't even a thought. And she was like, office.
Is that from the New Jersey? Or how long did you spend in Washington and how long did you?
We probably moved to Washington State I was maybe 5 or 6.
Okay.
So I don't really remember a whole lot of New Jersey.
Of course.
But I remember a lot of Washington State. So we were just,
So what you're saying, they're just cussing out teachers up there.
Yeah, that's what
I wouldn't really say cussing out teachers, but like mine and my dad's relationship, we were blunt.
Yeah.
There was not even a thought, was growing up terrified of my mom, not of my dad.
Really?
Yeah.
It's usually the opposite.
My mom was the ruler of everything in our house.
But Dad was always off working.
Dad was always off working, so it was
Mom had to.
all discipline. Everything went through my mom. Moving here, going back to the school, went to the principal's office. Principal came out, looked at his secretary, and just held his hand out. And I didn't know what was going on. Secretary got money out of her purse, gave it to the principal. He said, I bet her you'd be in here before the end of first period.
Damn. Why?
Because I had Jose tequila slammer shirt on.
Oh, Lord.
Nice.
You know, you really didn't have a dress code up north.
Right.
So dress code here, he was like, you need to turn the shirt inside out. I was like, okay. So, you know, I got home, talked to my mom. I said, we need to go shopping because I can't wear any clothes that I have here.
I didn't even realize they were doing dress codes back then.
Well, I mean, with it being tequila.
Right. Just an alcohol reference.
Just the alcohol reference. Yeah, it was. And then I looked at my dad and I was like, where are we? Wanted to ask because, you know, you walk in the cafeteria, not to sound bad, but you have whites here, you have blacks here.
Right.
Well, up north, we had open campus. We could walk across the street, go to get fast food for lunch. Never saw any of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he was like, well, you're not up north anymore. And I was like, well, no shit. So, I mean, it was a good experience. Shocking experience. But I mean, I wouldn't take any of it back. I love living down here. I would much rather live where I am now than a big, huge city. It's just, I've got loads of family that live in big cities, but it's just kind of like, I like the hometown. Even sometimes everybody knowing your business, I really don't like.
Yeah.
But, you know, I could care less.
Yeah.
What people say or think.
Right.
I mean, I'm older. I'm to that point. I'm just like, you know, if you're not in my circle, I don't give two shits.
Yeah. No, I get that. I mean, I grew up in a small town, you know, and I've talked about it, and that's how it was. Just everybody kind of knew your shit. I guess it was weird because, like, I moved from a place that nobody did.
Yeah.
And I guess that, I'd say the same thing. Like, nowadays, I can give a shit what you think, but when we do get land, we're going to move somewhere, and I'm not going to get to know anybody. They're going to be like, who's that? That's all they're going to say.
Yeah.
My dad still lives in a really small town. It's that exact way.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, sometimes it matters. I mean, I'm in a small town, and I'm divorced. I haven't seen my ex-wife, and we live in the same town.
Yeah.
Haven't seen her. I'm pretty sure we'll get into all that later. Don't really care to.
No, you don't have to. You don't have to.
Yeah. But I mean, it's like there's not that many stores. There's not that many places to go in our town.
That's
so
weird.
Normally I run into everybody that I know or that I work with or that has worked with me or that I fired 3 times. And, you know, it's
like,
yeah, I do get that a lot because, I mean, it's in my early years of management, I went through. I brought a lot of the stuff that was going on outside of work, inside work.
Mm.
So
yeah. So you brought your home issues to work with.
Yes.
You. I saw that a lot in the military.
So one thing, I would just lose it. It was just, and it didn't matter who was there in front of me. They got the wrath of it, and I got in. I mean, I'm not going to say I got in trouble a lot.
Yeah. But they obviously wanted you back.
Yeah.
So going back to that time period you're in high school, you had this culture shock. Was there other things right out of the gate other than the clothing and the mannerisms and that kind of thing? And then kind of how did you work
How
through that?
hot it is here.
How hot it is. Yeah, I
Yes.
bet.
Good God.
I bet from Washington and
From
New Jersey.
Washington State, I mean, you in the dead of summer, you might get 80,
Really?
and there's no humidity.
That's nice up there.
And then coming here,
Wow.
we moved here in June or July, and it was 96 degrees at 12 a.m.
With probably
at night.
85% humidity.
So yeah, it was kind of getting used to it the first summer. It was pretty rough because I mean school hadn't started, so we were living in an apartment when we moved here because the house we were moving into was getting finished. So it was a lot just trying to get everything situated. So
damn, that's quite the shift. And I know, dude, that's the whole thing is the heat. I mean, I grew up in this. I've grown my whole life in the South, but I never will get used to this.
He hates the
summers.
He hates it.
Dude,
So
I'm
I love the winters.
I hate
Oh,
cold.
yeah, me too.
I hate it.
I'm shorts all year round from work.
Dang, dude.
Yeah, it doesn't
I
matter.
mean, I
how-
run really hot, but I hate being cold.
See, that's like, you know, I love the cold weather. Like if I'm in a gym,
Yeah.
right.
I'd rather it be 85,
Oh,
90
yes.
degrees, hot.
Come out work,
But-
come train at
But,
HQ.
but, you know, my house kind of like, you know, anytime we go on a vacation, it's 60, 65 degrees in my house.
That's my house.
All year round.
Me too.
Yeah.
All year round. And my wife is tiny.
Yeah.
So
she's little.
so she freezes.
Yeah.
But, you know,
So did you play any sports or anything?
yes,
Did that help with that transition?
it did. I mean, probably my whole family's entire life was based around soccer. Dad grew up playing it overseas. When we grew up, both of my sisters played. Both of my parents played in a men's and a women's league. So, and with my dad, him being Scottish, you know, he's 5'7" if he's lucky. Would argue and fight with anybody 6'6", 6'7". I mean, his best friend was like 6'4" that played on a different team, and it didn't matter. So growing up, I had my dad pretty much as my coach the entire time. Soccer was all I was worried about.
Were you hot-headed like your father growing up?
Kind of, sort of.
Kind of, sort of.
I just did it real sneaky. So, you know, growing up, my dad coached us with two of his good friends, one from Germany, one from Mexico. So you've got a Scotsman, a German, and a guy from Mexico, our three head coaches. So there was sometimes we were 10, 11 years old. We had practices on how to hurt people and not get caught.
Nice.
So it was, and we didn't lose.
Hell yeah.
Well, think about that variety.
We traveled.
Of coaching.
We traveled. We went to California. We went to Illinois. We went to British Columbia at, 10 and 11 years old.
Was it like a travel soccer team?
Yes.
Gotcha.
So it was probably, 5 or 6 different schools, but it was all kids that we grew up together. So it was, so then moving here, you didn't really have a whole lot of travel soccer in the early 80s. I had to travel to Murfreesboro. I had to travel to Brentwood to play. So once I got into soccer, it made the move a whole lot easier.
Nice.
And then probably after my sophomore year, I got talked into football.
I was wondering when it was going to happen.
It was. Yeah, I was talked into kicking for the football team. And my dad, 3 of the coaches at the high school, we all went to church together. I grew up Catholic. So it was kind of a smooth transition because, we were all Notre Dame fans. So it was, it's sports ball. In
knows.
Your case.
He knows the sports ball.
I remember the movie Rudy.
Yeah, there you go.
He remembers the sports ball reference.
So my junior year, I was talked into it, never kicked a football ever in my life. So junior year wasn't that great. Went to 2 sessions at MTSU, kicking camp, between my junior and senior year. Senior year was a whole lot better.
Oh, yeah.
So it was, but everything was based on what I could do to stay in shape for soccer.
Yeah.
I had a couple offers for football, but they were from like military colleges. And I was just like, no.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not, back when I was in high school, I wasn't like, I'm not going in the military. I'm not going to go to a military school. I don't want somebody telling me, how I need to dress and everything. So
Right there.
senior year.
You were trying to play soccer in college, though?
Yes.
Okay.
I did.
Did you want to play pro eventually? Was that the goal?
I wanted to go as far as I
Far as
could.
you could go?
As
Gotcha.
far as I could.
Gotcha.
So, of course, I played striker and offense my entire life until college. I was not fast enough. I went to Martin Methodist in Pulaski. I got a scholarship there. We had 6 players from the Cayman Islands. So, offense was not, no.
For the layman, explain what a striker is.
Striker is offense. That's who scores.
Yeah, I was close.
Yes.
So you're kind of like the point guard. You're kind of like the quarterback in a way.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about a transition from not being able to play that position anymore, that's kind of a big deal.
To defense.
Yeah. So that's a big
That is
deal.
a big. That's a big change.
That'd be like being the star quarterback, and they're like, "Yeah, you're not good enough. You're gonna go play linebacker."
Yeah.
Yes.
So-
it's a huge difference.
So, and I'd assume that the Cayman Island guys are just like super fast or something.
Super fast,
Sickening.
super big.
You would never think that, like, I don't know. I'm not sitting there thinking like, dude, Cayman Islands got some athletes.
Bro, the soccer players.
But I don't know nothing about, like, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, the soccer in college was great, but that's all I went to school for.
Yeah.
I didn't go to school.
Yeah.
I probably at the end of the first semester, I probably had a 1.0 GPA because the only class I passed was the one our coach taught, and that was it. So
I had a GPA like that one time
at Gardner Webb.
Yeah. Gardner Webb.
Yep.
You drew a connection with Gardner Webb a while back.
That is where my oldest niece graduated from.
Okay.
So I've got one of my sisters lives in Raleigh, North Carolina, Raleigh Apex area.
Yeah.
They've got I haven't been to it yet. But they got a house in the mountains close to Appalachian State.
Nice.
So, and that's where my nephew goes.
Appalachian State is amazing.
Yes.
I went there for a football camp. It is so beautiful, dude. That city.
It's pretty up that way.
He graduates this December.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
How old is your niece?
She is, she's probably going to kill me if she listens to this. I think she's 24, I think.
Okay.
We'll assume you got that right.
Behind the time I was there.
I'm hoping I got that right because that's the one that can probably call me for anything, and she knows it.
Yeah.
She knows it.
Your birthday's numbers, like,
Yeah, it's
Birthdays, numbers, math, equations.
as long as I'm there in June next year when she gets married, I think I'm good.
yeah.
So,
Skip the birthday. You're good.
yeah.
It's good. Don't even tell her. Yeah, I'm just
No,
kidding.
yeah.
And so you went to school, and so I'm assuming you said after the first year, like a 1.0 GPA.
After
right?
the first semester, of course, didn't really go to school. There was a major incident at Martin Methodist that year.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Like a scandal?
Yeah, it was pretty intense, and it was all of our players from the Cayman Islands.
Ooh.
We came home from a trip in Miami, of course, and we're all out in front of the dorms because at Martin Methodist back in the day, you had a men's dorm and a female dorm. There wasn't you didn't live in the same complex like they do now. Mm-hmm. So, I guess to take it back during training camp, there was a white girl that was there. Of course, all the guys from Cayman Islands are black. And through training camp, let's just say she had a date with each one of them on different days.
Heard.
Yes. And it was a small town.
Small
too,
town,
right?
Pulaski, yes.
So,
yes.
yeah. So you're thinking that whole dynamic, small town,
Yeah.
80s.
Yeah.
Yes. Early 90s.
Yeah.
91 to be exact. So then probably about an hour after we got back, she comes running out of the men's dorm. And we're like, we know what she was doing, whatever. 30 minutes later, here come about 6 to 7 cop cars arresting all of our players.
Including you?
No, all of our players from the Cayman Islands.
All of that group.
All of that group.
Yeah.
Because I guess when she went running out, of course we're 18 years old. We're gonna make our smart ass comments. We know we know what you've been doing. You know,
assumed, yeah.
We assumed, and she ended up calling the cops and charging them with rape.
Uh-oh.
So, make a long story short, when they went to court, it's in Pulaski. For those that don't know, it originated in Pulaski.
Is it the
Yes, the KKK.
the three?
Yes,
I was gonna say
the triple
three
K.
letters.
The triple letters, yes.
Yeah.
Triple letters. So the Pulaski Square was full hoods, Dixie flags, everything
For the court date.
for the court date.
Oh, boy. No.
For the court date. So
Oh shit.
all of us, we were like, we want to go because something's going to happen. We just wanted to be a part of something. So throughout the whole case, lawyers are going back and forth, and they end up catching this girl in a humongous. She commits perjury, is what she does. She lied. Damn. So there are people in 3-piece suits that we can see the tattoos on their neck. We know what they're a part of.
Whoa.
Without saying it.
What are you trying to say?
I'm not saying anything, but you don't have a big swastika right here.
Oh, yeah.
On the side.
So on the side of your neck. So
just visibly where
it's
everybody.
it's visibly, but I mean they're
Question.
trying to hide it.
So was Jason Aldean recording his music video there?
No,
Okay, just curious.
no, he wasn't.
Sorry, this is
not that small town.
Smart ass comment.
No,
Not that small town. So
That gets people all riled up.
after
so.
they're like, have you ever charged anybody with this before? She says no. The player's lawyer's like, well, what about this person and this year? She's done it like 5 or 6
really?
times. Oh. So within about 10, 15 minutes, there's about 5 or 6 guys that get up and leave the courtroom. We leave 5 minutes after them, and there is nobody on the square.
Because they realized she was lying?
Because they realized she was lying.
Wow.
So they realized she was, I guess explicit in her views or whatever, how you ever want to say it.
So she got around to these. She got
Yes.
around with these guys, but by choice.
By choice. So they were actually there to support her until they found out how she actually was.
It's wild that you think about that was only, 30 years ago, and there's a whole square full of hooded up KKK members. Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't that long ago.
No, it wasn't. So, I mean, this was like not really a culture shock for, when I first moved here. This was like all of us between, the soccer team, basketball team, volleyball team. We were like, we want to go. We want to see this.
Yeah, it's an event.
It's an event. So
What did y'all think about the case? Like, was your assumption that you were like,
we were right. I mean, we were right. I mean,
You thought that it was probably not?
excuse me. She was with them in the summertime. And then she was with 2 of them. Then another one entered, and another one entered, and another one entered, and all of a sudden you got 6 guys in one room with 1 girl. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and of course, before the court date, like right after, to kind of take it back, right after the players get arrested, of course, I call my mom. My mom's known everything I've ever done in my entire life. And I'm like, look, you need to watch the news. We're going to be on the news tonight, And, of course, she stays up till 10, 11 o'clock, and it comes straight across Martin Methodist rape case. And the first person they interview is me. And so she calls me like at 11:30. What in the hell is going on? So I had to explain everything to her, and she was like, "You've literally scared the living shit out of me."
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, I didn't mean to. She's like, you could have warned me. And I was like, yeah, but Mom, come on now. I'm an hour away. I'm not going to do that.
I just put that together. You came on the TV right as that pops up. She's
right
like,
after it.
She's
And
like,
her heart just
exactly.
stops.
Yeah. She's like,
Oh
what in
my.
the hell is going on? So yeah.
Damn, dude, that's pretty nuts, man. That's quite the thing to. I don't know. It's quite the scene right there.
100%.
It was, and of course, meeting with the advisor after all that, they were like, well, we'll put you in this class and this class and this class. And my dad was like, look, is school for you or not? And I was like, no. So 1 semester, that was it. I was like, school's not for me. Got a job. One of my best friends was going in the military. He went in the Navy, and I was like, you know what? I'm going. So I went in the Air Force. But I went in the Air Force for the wrong reasons. I went just to get away, not to go do it.
This episode is brought to you by Relentless Pursuit. Check us out at relentlesspursuitlifestyle.com. Check out all our, I would say our new gear, but by the time his episode comes out, this pre-order is going to be closed. So if you missed out, we will be doing more. So stay tuned. We got some killer gear on the way, doing some killer things. But check out our Patreon at patreon.com/The Relentless Pursuit Podcast for just some extra content, extra episodes, some Q&A and stuff like that, free apparel and whatnot. And I'm trying to think what else.
Sponsors, if you're interested in being a sponsor, please let us know. We have a ton of opportunities at a ton of different price points, a ton of different creative spots.
Hit us up. Shoot an email to relentlesspursuitlifestyle@gmail.com.
Yep. And
I'll send you the analytics and the packages and all that killer stuff. So
just trying to get some conversations going with those people. So if you guys are interested at all, we'll take it from there. Just let us know.
sweet. And Brian, where do they find you?
Probably 90% of the time you find me at Elevate Family Fitness. It's a brand new gym in Winchester. Between cardio, heat and cryo beds, aqua massagers. It's got group fitness boot camp classes. It's got a outdoor training area that a lot of CrossFitters can use. It's got a rig out there, 2 push sleds. We're getting new tires. I mean, it's a guy I graduated with. Probably called me about 6 months ago. We'll get into it, but I mean, it's Elevate Family Fitness.
Sweet.
Sounds
I'll
like
be
an
sure
awesome
to
facility.
send him the bill for that ad.
Invoice incoming. Right to you, brother.
Invoice coming. Thanks, Brian.
Oh, no problem. It wasn't something that I thought about doing my entire life because it was growing up. It was soccer. That was it.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm going to go do. That's what I want to go do. When I went to college, it was like, okay, how can I keep doing soccer if I don't do this professionally? Okay, I'm going to be a teacher.
Well, you said too that you didn't want to go to military college.
Right.
Which is funny because I went to military college because for reasons I didn't want to, mainly for other people, right? But I ultimately was like, fuck this, peace. And then went to college and failed out like you, and then went in the Air Force. What do you know?
So I mean, I went in the Air Force probably about 2 weeks before the Air Force. I was working a night shift job, dating a girl in Shelbyville. So it was about from my house to her house, it was about a 35-minute drive. She was still in high school. I was graduated. So, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Driving home from a dance. 2-lane road.
You went to prom with her or something?
It was some homecoming dance or something. I don't know. I can't even remember what it was. 2-lane road. Fell asleep at the wheel.
Damn. Like legit felt like you weren't drinking or anything?
No, just dead
Fell asleep. Damn.
Dead asleep at the wheel.
They say that's as dangerous as drinking. Like if you drive super tired, that's as dangerous as driving drunk.
So 2-lane road, I went off into the ditch and it woke me up. Still driving. I see a telephone pole. I'm thinking it's about 30 feet in front of me. It's about 300 feet in front of me. So the first thing I do is turn the wheel. I go back up the embankment, flip the car, and slam it on the roof. And it rolls 6 times.
Good God.
Yeah. So imagine a 1990 4-door Escort hatchback.
Built like a tank.
No, not built like a tank whatsoever.
Quite the other way.
So roll 6 times. It ends upright. I am in the hatchback.
Ooh.
I'm in the back of it.
No seatbelt.
No seatbelt. I'll get into that.
Okay.
No seatbelt. So I had to kick my way out of the back window and crawl out of the car. So, of course, people stop behind me. They call the cops. I've got the ambulance there. I'm laying in the ditch.
She's not with you?
Who?
The
No.
girl?
No. I was going home. I dropped her off. I was going home. So I was by myself.
Gotcha.
At that time, a drunk driver goes into the ditch, crashes. His car stops 20 feet away from mine. So I'm laying in the ditch. They've already called my parents. Told my parents I'm been in a wreck. I'll be at the hospital. So at this time, they have to take care of the drunk driver first and send him to Tullahoma Hospital. So almost 2 hours later, as my parents are sitting at the emergency room in Winchester waiting, that's when I arrive. So their worst thoughts are, he's dead.
Yeah.
That's why it's taken this long.
Keep in mind, kids, we didn't have cell phones then.
Yes, we did not have cell phones then. Tore muscles all across my back, cuts, black eye, bruised shoulder, everything. So probably about 4 hours later, I get let go after getting x-rays, MRIs, everything. Did not break anything, which is amazing. Because the next day we go to see the car. Both, like where the dash was, the entire roof up until about halfway to the back seat was 2 inches away from the dashboard. So physically, the state trooper told me if I would have had my seatbelt on, I would have died.
Because you would have been trapped in the front.
Yes, I'd have been crushed in the front if I'd have had my seatbelt on. But, do I wear my seatbelt now? Yes. But, hindsight being 2020, I was like, okay. And then 2 weeks later, with pulled muscles in my back, is when I went to the Air Force.
Yeah. Damn.
Oh yeah.
Hey, but just some pull muscles, like they were like, hey, you're still good.
Yeah, it sucked. I mean, going through basics sucked. So I mean, pretty much stretching, trying to get through all that. Graduated basic, went to electronic control specialist. I thought had to do with computers. I thought we'd learn computers, do all this kind of stuff. No, that is a Morse code systems operator. So it's that's all you listen to for 8 hours. It sucked. It was horrible.
What was it called?
It was electronic control specialist.
You know, and I'm sure your recruiter was just like, dude, you're gonna be doing top notch shit.
Yes. 100%. So he was like electronic control specialist. I was like, okay, get into electronics, learn some stuff. It's gonna be pretty cool. I might be able to do that outside once I get out of the service. So I went to Fort Devens, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Which is like putting I guess to put it in context, putting an army post in Mayberry.
Gotcha.
Hell yeah.
Not even a street light in the town. Just a caution light. That's it. Two stores, one of them was in a gas station. So one supermarket, one like Quickie Mart or whatever you want to call it. Where's this base at? Fort Devens, Massachusetts. So
out of the small town, back into a small town.
Yeah, really back in this small town. So, I mean, I liked what I was doing once I learned how to type. Because never typed before in my life before that. So I had to learn how to type first and then had to listen. So, yeah, it was finger pecking the computer. You think
that's so the first thing to ask you, can you type well?
No, it was not. You know, when I got there, they're like, how many words can you type a minute? I was like, maybe 3. Maybe
2 words a minute.
Maybe 3 if I'm lucky, because I've never worked on a computer, never did anything like that through school, never.
So you said it was Morse code, but like, what was the purpose? Like,
that's how like different countries communicate, send messages.
Just like encrypted messages.
Yes. So
gotcha.
It's like and like some of the stuff that we had to listen to was like chickens clucking or whatever. And that's what you'd have to get the letters out and you would type a message out. Oh. It was horrible. So either you were,
it's kind of interesting.
Either you were a nerd or you were drunk. Gotcha. I wasn't a nerd. Gotcha. So, you know, we went out on the weekends.
Hey, you were a nerdy drunk.
Yeah, there you go.
Give yourself credit.
So I got through the first part of school. Second part of school, you had to wait for security clearance. So, you know, my friends got called because they were calling me, look, the United States government, I just got off the phone with them. They were asking questions about you. I said,
what? TS?
Yeah, I had to do that for one of my friends.
I had to get TS too.
I had to get a security clearance. So,
very interesting phone call, by the way.
Yeah, it is when I didn't tell them, you know, because I didn't know. So I waited about 2-3 months for that, got that. You get in the second part of school. If you fail any part of the school, you get one more chance. That's it. I made it about halfway through the school, failed one section of it. A week later, got to take it again. Of course, sounds were not even close. Not even close. Missed it by 2. So I got to wait I would just do like general duty while I was waiting for another job. And I was going to do security police or military police, something, you know. And they were like, well, that job is going to be 1.5 years out. You can wait, or we can give you a general discharge and you can go home. So I took a general under honorable conditions. Of course, with taking a general, you lose whatever GI money you put in.
Yeah. And now you're like, damn it.
Which, I mean,
what does that mean? Because
I was putting like, you know, $100 to $200 a month in for GI money.
So it's basically the money
for your school.
Yeah.
Oh,
so like the money I get, but now post 9/11 GI Bill is way better. But
yes.
Yeah. So
this is before.
Yeah. So they pay for your school, but you had to pay into it though.
Yeah, you got some. You could pay into it, but you earned money every month for your GI Bill.
Gotcha.
But if you get an honorable discharge, you get that money. You get a general under honorable conditions, you lose that money.
It's almost like losing your pension.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Pretty much.
You know, but I understand, you got to understand these messages with the Morse code. Cause like, you know, think about it. You could be listening to, if you're not good at it, you could be listening to some country And like what they could be tapping is like, we want to send America a care package. But like you get a guy that's like, he's like writing it down. He's like, oh my God, they were going to nuke us. Like,
So, I mean,
next thing you know, you started a war.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. That seems like it seems tediously like on a day-to-day probably boring, but it seems interesting.
It was, and now that I look back at it, at the time, I thought, this sucks. I'm going to have headphones on for 8 hours a day, and this is going to be horrible. But then when I graduated the first part of school, you got your deployment on where you were going to go after the second stage. Mine was England. So I was stoked about it because I gave up Hawaii. I had Hawaii, and one guy had England. He's like, I don't want to go to England. I said, you want to go to Hawaii? He's like, yeah. So we went to our sergeant. We were like, look, we just want to swap. And he's like, fine. I don't have a problem with that. We need one in England. We need one in Hawaii. That's where you guys are going to go when you guys get through your second half. So when I didn't make it through the second half of school, I was pretty pissed.
Yeah.
So I was like, I got the chance to go to England. It is what it is. So
how old were you at this point?
I was 19.
Gotcha.
And how long were you in technically, like a year or
Oh,
something?
no, I was 20. It was altogether about not even 2 years.
Okay.
Because by the time basic and then the first part of school and then having to wait and the second part of school, and then I waited about 3 months after, and then they were like, it's going to be a year and a half out.
Yeah.
So you can wait, and you can, be the desk jockey at the dorm from 11 o'clock to 7 o'clock, and then you can do whatever you want to during the day for another year and a half. And I was like, no, I want to go home.
Yeah. I can relate to some of that too. Just kind of like the misunderstanding when you're going through the recruiting. Like you think it's going to be something else. Like,
right.
He was like, dude, you're going to be testing bombs and missiles. I'm like, so I just pictured myself. I got this flash and I was like clicking a button on a bomb, like see if it worked, or like
he's
fucking riding on a missile with a cowboy hat. Like, yeah, this thing's good.
Riding on a missile with a cowboy hat.
Yeah. But no, I didn't do that. I turned a lot of wrenches, but at the end of the day, it ended up being pretty cool.
Have you ever seen The Imitation Game, that movie? And if not,
no.
Long story short, it's about World War II, and it's about a guy who comes in to break the Nazi code, and his whole thing is if he doesn't figure out this code that they're using to communicate, then the war is going to be lost, essentially. And so it made me think about that whenever you're doing that.
I mean, I look back at it now. I was like, that's pretty cool. Not a whole lot of people can do that. But at the time, 19, 20 years old, I was like, this is not for me.
Yeah, I take things for granted at that time.
Yeah.
But, is what it is.
Yeah.
So
you're here now.
I'm here now.
You got
So,
discharged, and so now what do you
discharged, I came home.
what's your mindset at this point? Like,
I was like, I've got to find something. I've got to get back into doing something. So I came home, started refereeing soccer, high school soccer, select soccer. Did that for a year because through select season and everything, you can get paid pretty well. I travel to Smyrna and I'll bring home a $90 check for 3 hours of work.
Yeah.
So I was working night shift at a grocery store because that's what I had.
Yeah.
It was the job that I got first coming back. Working like 11 to 7. So I would sleep for 4 or 5 hours. I'd drive to Smyrna, Murfreesboro, Chattanooga, ref games, 4 or 5 times a week.
Yeah.
Did that for a while, and then my mom got me connected with a guy that actually ran the human resource department where I currently work. This is back in 93, I think. And this is probably the one place that if you lived anywhere in the vicinity, this is where you wanted to work. We had, 500 to 600 employees. It was a very big factory. So it took a year to get in the door. The first of every month, I take my resume up to the front office. Every single month. And this was even with my mom knowing the person that was the head of HR. It took a year. Took over a year. Started there in January of 94. Thought I was going to be there, 2-3 years. I was like, this is a job. This is a good job. I probably doubled my pay just going to that job.
Yeah.
From the grocery store. And I was like, And I went into, working at the grocery store from 11 to 7, 5 days a week, 40 hours, to 6 to 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, without a day off for the first year. Every single day, 12 hours.
Good time.
The money was great. I mean, don't get me wrong. I was still living at home. The money was great.
Well, at the time, did you have anything else going on?
No, I had nothing going on.
It was like,
I'd get up, I'd go ref a game. I'd get up at, 1 o'clock, drive 30 minutes, ref 2 games, and I would get changed on the way to work. And then I'd work all night long. I did that for 4 days a week. I was there probably before I left the first time. I was probably there 21 years. And in that time, I started teaching group fitness classes at a gym.
What got you into the fitness thing? Just like already being in soccer, you just stuck with it?
It was started working out with one of my friends, and working 12 hours a day and not really being into fitness. You get off at 7 o'clock in the morning, you're going to Hardee's, you're getting 2 biscuit and gravies, you're going home, eating it, going to sleep, waking up, going to Sonic, getting burgers. I mean, fitness wasn't a thing, and he was like, we need to start working out.
Yeah.
So I started working out, and they had a trial indoor cycling class, and I was like, well, let me try that. To be honest, it about fucking killed me.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to die after 45 minutes. Yeah. I was dead.
It's a long time.
It was a long time. And I was just like, God, this sucks. And then I was like, the first time I looked down, I was wearing a 40 waist pant. I weighed 285 pounds. Damn. That's a big boy.
It's a big boy.
Yeah, it was a big boy. And I was like, something's got to change. I've got to make a change. And trying that size 40 waist pant on, I was like, this shit's got to go. Yeah. So they had a training at the gym. I did it, started teaching the bike class. Over the years, I've gotten down to 160.
Jeez.
Petite.
Yeah.
This is a 120-pound difference.
Yeah.
Mercy.
And honestly, I hate to say this. Even my wife says today that I looked like I had cancer. Because I didn't do it the right way.
Oh, when you were 160.
When I was 160. Gotcha. I mean, I was eating 6 ounces of grilled chicken and a cup of broccoli 3 times a day.
Yeah.
That's all I was eating for like 6 months.
Well, yeah, and that's like not very nutritious overall.
No, it's not at all. It's not at all. So, I mean, yeah, I got small as hell. I mean, I was tiny, but I had no muscle. I had no nothing. She was like, my wife now, she's like, you look like you had cancer back then. She's like, don't do that again. And I said, well, I'm not. That's just, I'm doing it a different way. But this is when I'll get back to it. This is when let's see, to take it back, with the teaching at the gym and working, I met my first wife. And we used to go out from work. We'd leave 7 o'clock in the morning, go to the store, get some beer, get some chicken wings, go to somebody's house. We'd stay there till 1 o'clock. Then we'd go home, sleep for 5 hours, get up, go to work.
Yeah.
We did that 3-4 times a week. It'd just be at a different person's house. One afternoon, I'm walking out of the person's house, and there's a girl I know. Holler at her, and honestly, drunk as shit. Barely remember the conversation. And we start dating. So, I mean, and we've been together. This is kind of when I started working out, kind of started losing weight. Honestly, I can't even tell you the day that I got married, the date.
So the woman that you just described, that was your first wife?
That was my first wife, yeah. I don't know what day. It was some day in September.
You don't remember it because, why don't you remember
Just
it?
drinking so often?
Is that what
it wasn't that. That was kind of like prequel to us getting married. I mean, I'd have a beer every now and then during the marriage. It's not like I stayed drunk during the first marriage. I didn't.
Yeah.
It just, a lot of shitty memories, and I'll get into it. It's just like, I wouldn't care if she was at some points alive or dead.
Right.
And it just,
So did it for the wrong reasons, maybe same as before?
Maybe I thought that's what I kind of in the back of my mind, this is what I need to do. I need to get married. I need to get a house. I need to start my life. I need to get my head on my ass.
That fucks a lot of people up.
And it does. And it does. Not saying that I take any of it back because, shit happens for a reason. It does. It happens for a reason. When I was married, me and my wife now, she would come to my fitness classes. We became friends. So it wasn't like we knew each other. We were going, not to go through it, but we were going through a lot of the same shit behind closed doors.
Yeah.
A lot of the same stuff. Had the divorce. I was like, look, we need to separate. I took a tremendous loss on my house. I probably took a $30,000 loss on my house when I sold it from what I owed. I was like, I want to get rid of it, get out, done. And then through the divorce, I found out there was about $20,000 worth of credit cards that were in my name that I did not know about.
It's always fun to find out.
So, I was working 6-7 days a week. I didn't handle none of the finances, none. She paid everything. She went to the grocery store. Because I was working 7 at night, sometimes till 9 in the morning. I was working anywhere from 12 to 14-hour days.
You weren't really able to even keep your eye on that.
Yeah, 6 and 7 days a week. So I was like, you handle it. So a lot of the groceries were getting bought by credit cards. A lot of the trips that I thought was on the check card were credit cards. But I couldn't prove that I'm not the one that opened them because they were opened during the day when I was asleep over the internet with my social security card number.
So where'd your actual
Sneaky.
money go?
Huh?
Where's your actual money go? Like if she was using
That's a damn good question.
Gotcha.
So it's not like it's like if I went and got $100 out for the week, I went and got $100 out for a week. I didn't even think about it. She was like, well, we got money, we got this. Well, we didn't have shit.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Because as far as you were concerned, you were just spending a little bit at a time.
Yeah.
You weren't doing nothing wild.
No.
So you thought you was just all just in there.
I thought I was like, it's going in the bank. I'm cool.
You didn't even know she had a credit card, I'm assuming.
No, I knew
Gotcha.
about one.
Gotcha.
There was 11.
Whoo! It's a lot of credit cards, son.
I knew about one because I kept one and she had one that had both of our names on it. And then there was 11 total.
Yeah, that's a few more than you knew about.
So like through the divorce, it was like, okay, you handle these, I handle these. Through the divorce decree, that's what we were responsible for.
Even though it's all your shit.
Exactly. And I found that out a year later when I'm getting collections from all these credit card companies. I'm like, look, in the divorce decree, it says, they were like, we understand that, but legally they are your responsibility and it's your credit. So I was like, holy shit, what am I going to do? So had a very good friend that was probably vice president of a bank. Took my classes, said, look, change your car loan over. We'll give you an extension on your car loan. You can consolidate all these bills. So I did, and it jumped my car payment up $450 a month.
So how did that help you? I'm financially illiterate.
All of the interest and everything, I paid all the credit cards off. So it actually helped my credit score. I had one loan.
Yeah.
It was automatically coming out. So at that time, I was getting paid twice a month, semi-annually. So as a supervisor, you got paid every 2 weeks. So every 2 weeks, automatically, half of that payment would be paid. So it was never late for 4 years. Yeah. So it helped. She helped my credit tremendously doing that. And it helped me pay all this off. So through that, through this whole time, me and my wife now are dating. She got divorced. I got divorced. Not in the best way. I'll just say that. Don't want to go down that road.
Yeah.
But we start dating, and honestly, I didn't have a pot to piss in financially because everything was going out in bills. Everything.
Yeah.
Because I had to take out an extra loan to pay off the house. an extra loan for the car, an extra loan for this, an extra loan for this. I was paying off a lot of the stuff through the divorce. So I didn't have shit. So pretty much my house sold. We moved in an apartment together with our now sister-in-law that's married to her brother. So, and then over the years, I got the car paid off. I got this loan paid off. This loan paid off. Then we start getting our head above. Actually, she helped me get my head above water.
Yeah.
Her head was already way above water financially.
Yeah, she seems like a pretty intelligent woman.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
She's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, that's cool. I like her.
Then she'll probably kill me for this, but she will never forget the night that I asked her to marry me. Never.
Tell us about this.
Never. Yeah, it's
About to get juicy, guys.
It's not really juicy, but it's kind of like you and Lydia.
Oh, nice.
We're sitting in the house, sitting in the apartment, and we're just sitting there watching TV. She's actually eating peanut butter and Karo syrup mixed together with vanilla wafers. Just eating. It's
That's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
It's actually really
I had the
good.
munchies. I'm gonna.
It's actually really good. I thought she was crazy the first time she told
was
me
the
about
cereal?
it. Karo syrup, white clear Karo syrup and peanut butter mixed together.
I have no clue what you're talking about.
Dude, you need
You don't
to.
even eat donuts.
Joe's like,
You need
shut
to.
up, dude.
You don't even eat donuts.
Put it on.
You said you don't even eat donuts.
Put it on biscuits. Anything.
Hey, you're talking to the guy that eats chocolate ice cream. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you need.
You're not lying.
Yeah, you need variety in your
I
life.
will try it.
We're sitting there, and of course, we're just talking. And I was like, "Hey, it's like, you want to get married?" She's like, "Well, you ain't got a ring." Reach right down in the couch cushion. So here you go. She's like, "What the fuck?" She's like, "Are you kidding me?" She's like, "No," and she's like, "You're asking me, and I'm in sweatpants, a quilt on me, eating Kairos." I said, "Damn right I am." Say, because you will never forget this.
Right.
And ever since then, I mean, I can't. She has made me 100% better person, and a lot of it is because I would bring. In my previous marriage, I would bring my outside life into work.
Yeah.
So one thing went wrong, and I wasn't worth the shit for the next 12 hours.
Burning a hole in my head. You were talking about how your siblings were born in Scotland, and your dad is a Scotsman and like that. So
My dad's actually from Ireland. My mom's from Scotland.
okay. And were they first generation? That's the question I keep. They were first generation immigrants? Hell yeah.
Nice.
Hell yeah. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So they were Scottish
They-
and
yes,
Irish.
yes. That is, yeah.
Interesting.
Nobody can understand my dad.
Right.
So
Interesting.
they're growing up.
'Cause the whole
I got
time I-
asked, what
Yeah.
the fuck did he say? I was like, just nod your head. I'll tell you later what you agreed to.
When did they come over?
My mom and dad when they came over, my mom was probably a month pregnant with me.
Gotcha. So they were adult.
71.
Nice. Gotcha.
And it was just supposed to be for 2 years.
Oh, really?
So
Never
you were
left.
conceived there.
Yeah.
You were conceived in there. Yeah.
I was
You were
conceived there, but
yeah.
I was born in New Jersey.
Why, what was the 2-month thing?
It was supposed to be 2 years.
Or
It was
2
just supposed to be
years.
a 2-year stint for work.
Oh.
And then he found more work. And then he found more work. So yeah, him and his brother were the first two to come over.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So I'm curious, just because I want to dive into some other these other pieces of your life. Fast forwarding to like you proposing to your wife, your now wife, and everything like that. So moving forward with her, obviously, what's all transpired since then between you two, and then led y'all to like the things you're into now and whatnot.
Really, I just kind of like both of us are just. I wouldn't really say we're opposites because I mean she's sometimes is real quiet, and then she's not real quiet. she's got a fire in her that I've never seen in anybody before.
Nice.
She's got a determination that I've never seen in anybody before. Yeah. I don't see how she does the job that she does. She's been a teacher for 30 years.
Committed.
Yeah. She's been a teacher for 30 years.
What,
Loves
teaching
it.
what?
She taught 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade for 29 and a half years. And then last year, she jumped ship to teach 7th grade science at the middle school, and she loves it.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, teaching is an art form. I'll go ahead and say it, because I couldn't be a teacher.
No, same.
Absolutely.
Couldn't, because I couldn't hold my tongue. I'd end up popping some kid, and it's just going to happen. I'm not saying it, but it's just, I coached select soccer for years. That was like when I was reffing and everything. I coached select soccer. And when kids get to a certain age and they run that mouth, I just can't.
I hear you.
I can't do it, because they're not mine, but still.
Oh, my classroom would end up looking like a WWE event.
Yeah.
You know, I'd be stone colding them. You know?
Yeah.
And just her determination and everything that she's done. She is really, really close with her family, which I absolutely love. I love her. I love her family. They're just alike. Her mom and dad are the two of the sweetest people I've ever met.
Yeah.
I'd say, her entire family organization they're really, really, really close. So Thanksgiving, Christmas, she's really into.
I told you.
You did tell me. You did tell me. You did tell me.
I say?
Every time.
Guys, in all due respect, I didn't know we were going to be going this long.
I told you every single time.
How did I miss that one? Oh, there's like 40 others. So
Yeah, there's like 40 of them. I ask,
Make sure we're clear.
But
teacher should be the highest paid profession in the country, in my opinion.
100%. Even when I would work 6 days a week, 12 hours a day, I get home at 7 o'clock at night, and she'd be like, "Look, I need to go to school and get ready for tomorrow." I was like, "What?" She's like, "Yeah." She's like, I do better when nobody's there. Everything that she does, for the kids. For like the last 2 years that I've seen, she's coached basketball. That was kind of like, you're going to do this, because she did it for so long before. She went to college, played basketball. At 5'1", 90 pounds, soaking wet in high school.
Dog. She's a dog.
Oh yes, she is. She is. Anybody that knows her, like I said, she's got a determination that I don't think I could ever get to that level. She does the same stuff that Joe's parents do. She does Ironmans. Yep. So she's done every half Ironman that they've had in Chattanooga. I think it's, 13 of them. She did her first full in Chattanooga in 2017. I think in 2015, she might smack me if I get this wrong. We went to Texas for full Ironman. Mm-hmm. And
which, by the way, is what?
That is a 2.4 mile swim, a 112 mile bike ride, and a 26.2 mile marathon back to back to back. She ended up having to take herself out of the water because she almost got pulmonary edema, like foaming at the mouth. Yeah, it was pretty wicked. For a 12-hour drive down there, I got a phone call, and I'm like, I don't even know who this is. And it was somebody at the swim start, so I had to go get her.
Why did that happen?
I don't know. Their championships in Texas is at a man-made lake. So there's no motorized vehicles. You can do kayaks, you can do sailboats throughout there, but it's man-made. So all of the developments around it, that's the runoff. It is the nastiest water I've ever seen.
Really?
She did the practice swim the day before, and then she woke up and wasn't feeling good. And it's just like she couldn't catch her breath that day, couldn't do anything. And the determination, I don't know if it was determination or she was so pissed off at herself. She took the race bib and put it on the mirror the day we got home. And of course, she wrote DNF on it, did not finish. And then wrote another one out that said, make that river your bitch. And like the very next week, she signed up for the Chattanooga Full.
She's a dog.
The next year.
Yeah. She's a dog.
She is. And Chattanooga's got the longest Ironman in the world because it's not 144.6. It's 100. I think it's not 140.6. It's 144.6 because of the bike course. So you have to do it's a 116 mile bike ride in Chattanooga.
I'm pretty sure that was my mom's first Ironman too, full.
Yeah. And just seeing her just all throughout that, because I mean, it took her, I think, right at 14 and a half hours all day long. And it was 105 degrees. And the heat coming off the pavement was between 115 and 120 all day long.
Nice.
So seeing her at the end, I mean, she tells me some stories that she went into a porta potty and she was like, I had to go to a really dark place during that run. But she finished it. And I mean, I've got videos of her finishing, and you know, she had a black tri-suit. It was almost white because of all the salt from that day. But like she said, as soon as she got on the red carpet for the Ironman finish, it was like no pain whatsoever. She was running from side to side, and she still does it, which kills me.
Yeah.
I mean, she's at a torn groin muscle. Still did a half Ironman
With it?
Yeah.
Oh my God. She's a dog.
Hey,
I'm sorry, I keep saying it, but
people
golly.
tell me, I work with a lot of people. They know I post shit every day. My wife's like, "Why do you do it?" I said, "I don't give two damns. If you don't like it, don't watch me. Don't care. They're like, "How in the hell do you do it? You the man." I said, "No, I'm not." I said, "The badass in my family is that little one right over there. Is my wife. She's went to a dark place. Here in 2 weeks, we go to Wilmington, North Carolina. Her goal is to qualify for the Worlds. We qualify for the Worlds. We go to Taupo, New Zealand.
That'd be a nice trip.
It'd be a unforgettable trip. But that's what she sets her mind to it. She sets her mind to it, and it's like there's no telling her no. I mean, she gets up at 4:00, 3 days a week, goes and swims almost 2 miles a day, then comes home and rides a bike on the indoor trainer, or she goes outside, and just the determination she has is just, it's unmatchable.
I've seen it with my parents, man. It's just that, like, it's, we talked about, like, even the burpees, right? It's like you just get addicted to it. And you once you get into something like that with Ironman's, one, it's a huge investment. Like, it's not a cheap sport to get into.
No, it's not at all. But it is not cheap.
Yeah, just on the financial aspect. But then it's
What
like,
is it?
it's a lot of cost from your personal life and everything else. Like,
I mean,
What's the cost going on?
her bike alone. Okay. Yeah. Her bike has a name. And God help me. Her bike is named Magic Mike.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
She said if she was going to ride something for 6 hours, it was going to be worth it. So, yeah, I'm going to call her out on that one. But we probably have about 15,000 in that bike. And that's no joke.
yeah, that's what they.
I'm not even kidding. I didn't even know you could put that much money into a bike.
Yes, you can.
It gets higher than that.
It gets higher than that.
Like, what do you even...
Everything she's done to the automatic shifters, it's carbon fiber, lighter wheels, quicker crank, you name it, it's on there.
I never would have thought in a million years you could add up that much for...
Oh, yeah, you can.
Insane.
The more, sometimes the more shit you put on that bike, it makes it faster.
Yeah.
Makes it more aerodynamic.
Crazy.
Actually, I called and named my truck Magic Mike. Yeah. Same reason.
Same reason?
Yeah.
I hope not.
I
really
hope not too. But I mean, that's the thing. I mean, she's got, and I guess that's her glitch. She's like, I'll walk it. They're like, your bike's named Magic Mike. No, it's not mine. It's my wife's.
Yeah.
It's my wife's. It's my wife's. I know.
You should just claim it.
You're just like, whatever.
I'm for all her Ironmans, I'm the bag bitch. I don't care. But I mean, it's something that it's like a love-hate relationship she has with it. Some days are great, some days aren't.
Well, I love the passion that you talk about it with, and I love the passion in the support that you have. For
The admiration.
Yeah, and the admiration. You can see it in your eyes.
Because I'll go ahead and tell you, I tried it. She whooped my ass on our anniversary.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, she booked a sprint triathlon, which is like, a 500-meter swim, a 13-mile bike ride, a 3.1-mile run, On our anniversary, I was leaving for the run and she was finishing. And I was like...
And you never did that again?
No, and I mean, and to be honest, I liked it. I like riding a bike. Probably in the past 3 years, I've sold both of my bikes. I sold my triathlon bike when all COVID was going on. And I sold one of my bikes because one of my good friends wants to get into triathlon. He's a bigger guy. I don't know how many damn marathons he's ran. He's got a mindset. Bigger guy, he's lost weight, he's gained weight, lost weight, gained weight. We're good friends. Wife's good friends with him. I sold him my bike to get him because he wants to do a half triathlon. I was like, look, dude, I've got a good bike, and I'm not gonna. And I said, you can try it out. Sold it to him. He's got it now. Shout out to you, Donnie. But I mean, he's just to see. He did the Chicago Marathon this past weekend. He's 250, 260 pounds.
So he's just built bigger.
He's built bigger. He is bigger. He's my height, 260. But I'm just
trying to picture how you train for marathons and stuff. And
dude, he was running at 300 pounds.
Yeah, some people got it, man. And then
he was running at 300 pounds. Now, it may not have been far, but during the wintertime, he would go out when it's snowing. It's 2 degrees outside. He's running 3.1 miles.
It can help with the swim, man. Buoyancy.
The extra weight can help with the swim.
Yeah, that's why they just
he's learning how to swim. He's never swam before, so that's his.
So that tells you how stupid I am because I would have thought that would hurt.
No, actually, like some long distance swimmers that swim from I think the U.S. to fucking England or something
are bigger.
Yeah,
they are bigger. Now I got a friend that's doing a swim around the Key, Florida Keys, 12-mile swim. It's probably going to take her.
That's just crazy because you're in shark territory and stuff.
It's probably going to take her about 8-9 hours to do the whole swim. She's absolutely nuts.
I was about to say that shit's dangerous.
Yeah,
super dangerous.
And I've got a lot of friends that were like, you trust your wife out in the road because she'll go ride with our bike group in town when she does ride, and it's 15, 20 guys. So look, in the middle of summer, they ride 50 miles. Ain't nobody getting off that bike to go do anything else, and they all take care of her.
Yeah.
They won't leave her behind. But she's I've been at work. She's went and rode 100 miles.
God bless.
5 hours.
Yeah.
I'm like, look, if you need me, call me.
I'm here.
And she's riding everywhere that I know where it is and I know where she's at. So, it's not like they're like, I can't believe you try. I was like, well, then you have a problem in not trusting your wife.
Yeah.
Well, and the passion and support too. The other reason I brought that up is a lot of times with athletes like that or bodybuilders or something, they talk a lot about how your spouse has to be in it with you or it doesn't work.
We're in 2 different aspects because she does the triathlon. I'm trying to train for a bodybuilding show next year. So the food isn't even close.
Yeah.
To how we eat. Because if she eats like I do, she gains weight.
Yeah.
If she eats real clean, she gains weight. I'll be eating, turkey and green beans. I look over and she's almost through a whole bag of hot chips. And it's what she does. But she needs the carbs. She knows what she needs. So it's what works for her.
And is this what got you into bodybuilding? You tried the race.
I think I just needed something. I was looking at something and I was like, you know what? I've never done it. I might try to do it.
Yeah.
And of course, I've been with the coach for 3 years and a lot of shit's happened. A lot of stuff that, I probably 100% didn't follow what he said and I wasn't ready. And he just flat out said, and shout out to, Heavy D, I'm still with him.
Yeah.
He's from Murfreesboro. He's gotten me in the best shape that I've probably ever been in. But I'm going to do a natural show to where, I can't even be on, pill testosterone. It's illegal. I can't even be on it. So they blood test for it. And and I'm probably testosterone's supposed to be, 400 or 500. I'm probably less than 100 because I was on testosterone shots for years, and then my iron shot up to like 1,1500, and I had to give blood like last year for 5 straight months.
That's insane. My testosterone was like 1,100.
Yeah, to try to get
to get the iron out.
Try to get my iron out.
That's wild.
But I mean, I don't know if it was anything I was taking. I don't know if it was the way I was eating. Of course, I loved the way I was eating because like 4 of my meals was red meat. I loved it.
It's a lot of iron.
It was great.
Right.
Tasted great.
Yeah.
But it was just like my body just wasn't getting rid of it. And she was like, I can't prescribe you testosterone to your iron levels. And I was like, well, what are they? Like, 300? She said, no, normal was less than 100. You're at 1,400.
God dang. Do you have any symptoms from that?
I don't think I did. I probably did. But I mean, I'm a little sluggish. I get up at 3 o'clock every single morning, which my wife thinks I'm absolutely insane. I mean, Saturdays and Sundays, I might sleep till 5 if I'm lucky. But I get up at 3, I go do my workout, I go do my cardio, I go do everything I need, and then I go and I work. Usually I fall asleep by like 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
On the recliner. And it's what I do every single day. And now since the fucking burpees, the first 3 days, that was absolutely the worst thing I could ever even think about going in the room and doing.
Yeah.
You doing them like first thing in the morning or something?
I do them, normally I do anywhere from 30 to 60 minutes on the Stairmaster. I will go do my workout, then I go do the burpees and go home. So I'm at the gym easy 2 hours.
I was about to say
2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Just depending on how long a session, I'll tag Knox and Dustin and my cardio stuff because they just don't do cardio.
Got 'em.
And it's just, sometimes I just like, I just want to do an hour of stairs. And it sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, the first time I did Stairmaster, I was probably on it for 5 minutes and I was like, screw this. I'm not doing this ever again. But I would rather do that than on a treadmill or on a rower any day of the week.
I love doing the burpees.
I mean, they're getting easier to do.
Yeah.
I mean, burpees regardless are not easy to do, but they're getting easier to accomplish. Be like, hey, I'm going to do my burpees, not like, oh God, I'm pissed, I need to go do burpees.
Yeah. And you'll realize too, if you're doing them every day, like you get better at them. But if you ever do take a day or two, you go back and you're like, man, these are easy. But like they just start weighing you down, man. Like freaking, trust me. I know.
I don't see how in the hell you did 1,000 in one day. I just don't.
I feel like this. Very good.
Okay.
He'll edit that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's just something popped out. I just want to make sure you were good.
And we'll talk about that. I do want to hear, so you're on your journey with bodybuilding. I tell you what, you're like the most consistent dude. I mean, this guy posts to his story every day. I used to never do that, right? When I started doing the burpees, it was just a thing. Like, all right, I want to do these every day. I'm going to hit like freaking 30,000 or so, close to that by the end of the year. I'm going for like 100,000 eventually. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just going to keep up in it, right? I don't know why. It's a personal thing, but it's something I really have gotten into. And it sucks and it's hard to stay consistent with that, but it's like, it improves you, right? And but I post videos every night, every day of when my numbers I hit for the day. And, but I appreciate that from you because you post every freaking day, dude. I'm like always got something to share from Brian. And so you're on your journey, you're working towards bodybuilding, and so I know that's coming. You're looking forward to next year. Mm-hmm. But you said life's happened, right? A lot of things have happened. And I know last year you suffered the loss of your parents. Yeah. Do you want to elaborate on that a little bit?
I will. It's probably a couple of years ago. My dad had a stroke, and that was hard. Well, to kind of take it back, Crohn's runs in my family. Crohn's disease does.
Yeah.
So my mom had an ileostomy. She wore a collapse bag. My sister has Crohn's. My older sister has Crohn's, and my younger brother has Crohn's. So it skipped my oldest sister and me.
What is Crohn's, by the way?
Crohn's is like deterioration of your colon. Gotcha. I don't know exactly what it is, so I don't want to speak out of context. But I mean, my brother's had part of his intestines removed because they've been clogged. My sister has been on like Remicade for years because of Crohn's flare up to where like she can't eat. I mean, literally like the only thing she could eat was like the little candy Smarties. Dude, that's the only thing that would stay down.
My buddy Mike Richbeck was on here, and his appendix ruptured from Crohn's.
So, you know? And I mean, my mom's doctor caught it early enough, and then it was like, we need to get everybody tested.
Yeah.
So I've probably had 5 or 6 colonoscopies. So I kind of know what that goes through. And the doctor's like, you know, the last time, which it was probably 10, 15 years ago, I had one. They were like, why are you even here? I was like, look, this is going into my family. I want to make sure I'm good. The doctor's the one that sent me up here. So with that being said, I mean, my mom's went through survivor breast cancer, Crohn's disease. I mean, and then a couple years ago, my dad I think he had like stage 1 or stage 2 prostate cancer. And then he suffered a stroke. So getting him back and I guess seeing the fight that he had, I kind of know there's not shit that can happen in my life that I can't fight through.
Yeah.
And then probably, you know, a couple years they were fine. My dad fully recovered from the stroke. And then, you know, as people get older, they kind of forget stuff. And sometimes my parents would forget to eat. It got to a point to where I would cook for them a week and be like, look, this is the 3 things you have to eat. You have to eat. You know, my dad was 82 when he passed. My mom was, I believe, 79 or 80. And it got to a point to where it was harder on my sister and me because we probably lived maybe 2 miles away from my mom and dad. My oldest sister lives in North Carolina, and my brother lived in Nashville. Him and his family live in Nashville. So it was kind of harder. So we would get called a lot. And it was kind of like a family decision in last year to move them to an assisted living.
Yeah.
And it was great. I mean, it was a better place for them, and they thrived at it like the first 2 months.
Yeah.
They were going out to their socials. My dad was on the front of the newspaper at the place. And it was a place where they could live together.
Yeah.
And that was the main thing of keeping them together. And then probably around June or July of last year, Dad got sick, Mom got sick, and they were actually in 2 different hospitals. So they weren't seeing each other every single day. So we would travel up, we would see them. Dad had another couple strokes, which I think my brother said he had like 5 or 6, which we only told my mom he had 1 because we didn't want to worry her. So as a family, we all thought my dad would pass first.
Yeah.
And then my brother called me because Mom was getting like urinary tract infections with everything, and it was getting a little bit worse and a little bit worse, and she kept on having to go back. You know, they would clear up and she would get another one, clear up and then she'd get another one. Well, I mean, both of my parents decided before they moved they were going to be DNR because they didn't want to put any of the kids through making that decision.
Yeah.
Which I respect them 100% for that because there's no way in hell I could do that to either one of my parents. Yeah. There's no way. And I know my brothers and sisters couldn't either. One day my brother called me and said, hey, you know, Mom's in the hospital. It's looking kind of bad. I was like, okay, well, I was at work and it didn't really register because I was like, you know, hell, Mom's fought through everything else. You know, she's going to fight through this. And then he called me that afternoon and said they're giving Mom 30 minutes. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And he was like, well, they did a MRI and everything, and she had massive internal bleeding from the urinary tract infection and everything that she had going on. So Dad's in one hospital.
Mom's in the
Mom's in another. So Dad's got no idea what's going on. And, you know, I think she was in St. Thomas, St. Thomas or Vanderbilt. So it's an hour and a half drive for me. And he's like, don't get in the car. He's like, because you'll be in Murfreesboro when it happens. He said, I'll call you. I said, okay. If anything happens, he'll call me. And it was exactly an hour later. He called me and he was like, Mom's gone. And literally it felt like somebody knocked me across the face. I dropped the phone. I mean, I'm going back. I'm 100% mama's boy and damn proud of it. Don't care.
Yeah.
And I just dropped the phone, dropped to my hands. Terry came in. It was a complete shock because we all thought Dad was going to go.
You weren't even looking at her. Like
You weren't even looking at her. So it was an absolute shock. With that, of course, my sister already took off towards Nashville. So my brother didn't call her until he met her at the hospital.
Yeah.
So he was like, I'm not calling her. You know, there's no way. There's no way he's calling. So we get in contact with my oldest sister, which lives in North Carolina. So the next day she flies in. So at this point, my dad's in the other hospital. We have to tell my dad that his wife of over 50 years has passed. So that was just, I can't even really describe the emotions that were kind of going through all of us because we were having to tell, you know, the strongest man in the world to us that his strongest partner had passed.
Yeah.
And of course it was a shock, you know, Dad was still dealing with the stroke. So he was there was no emotion in his face because he was just kind of like sitting there in the wheelchair. And after we left, you know, of course we all come home and we're talking about it and everything. And my brother I don't know how in the hell he does it, but he can bring light to any dark situation on the planet. He tells us he's in the room with my mom before she passed. And there was a female religious person in there, and they were like playing this spiritual music from my mom. My mom is not that type of person. She's not. And she looked up and she said, for fuck's sake, can we get this over with? And 5 minutes later, she was gone. So she did it on her terms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And without my mom being there, my dad really couldn't live in the assisted living anymore because he couldn't take care of himself.
Yeah.
So we pretty much moved him down to a life center where they pretty much take care of him. I mean, it's / nursing home or whatever you want to call it.
Like a hospice?
Yeah, like kind of. And it was right beside the hospital, and it was, 15 minutes away. It was in Tullahoma. So we decided to move him back. Of course, he's asking about, has the house sold? Is this sold? Is this sold? And everything had been sold. So he felt a little bit better. But this was, this was in September. We didn't have my mom's service until November, till like the day before Thanksgiving, because it was both of my parents were cremated. So it took a while to get back. So we wanted to make sure everybody could come and everything like that. So at that time, I think in November, it finally kind of hit my dad that Mom wasn't there at the service. You could kind of tell you could tell emotionally, he didn't really speak a lot, but you could tell emotionally he wasn't. It was like, that's my wife. They're talking about my wife. My wife's no longer here.
Yeah.
So it was hard seeing that. And then probably within the next month and a half, because my dad passed, I think 2 days after Christmas, he passed. And you could just see week by week, it was almost like he was kind of grieving himself to death. It's like he wasn't eating a lot. Or I would get called at work and say, look, he hasn't ate anything. Can you go up there? So I'd get off at 7 o'clock at night, travel, make sure Dad eats something, go see him. Trying to, and my brother would bring his kids so he could see his grandkids. My sister would bring her daughter. And it was hard for them to see Dad, especially my niece, my sister's daughter, my older sister's daughter, because pretty much the dad wasn't in the raising. The dad wasn't around. So my dad was pretty much dad to my niece. So it was really hard for her to see her grandpa, which her dad, pretty much raised her. So everything my niece had going on at school or going on anywhere, it was awards day or nothing, my dad was there. It didn't matter what it was. He was there.
Yeah.
And so seeing that, and I think we saw him on Christmas Day, and it was just, I mean, he was, and he's my height normally. He's my height. He might have been 125 pounds, maybe. I mean, I hugged him, and it was like almost like hugging a skeleton with clothes on.
Of course.
So then when he passed, we had the service we had the service before we got his remains back, because it was during Christmas. It was before the first of the year. We were like before everybody moves. And I mean, it's good that they're both together now.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I can't imagine kind of seeing my dad, seeing the strongest person I've ever known, seeing everything he did, just seeing him kind of deteriorate. It was just like some days I was fine, and some days I was like a little kid that your dog just got ran over.
Yeah.
It was just some days still now I do it. And it's been almost a year. It's been a year since my mom passed.
Yeah. And
there's some days that I wake up, I'm good. And there's some days I wake up and I'm not.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just, I can't. And I think it was probably 2 weeks after my mom passed, I was holding everything in. And I was having the worst dreams about my mom. And finally, my wife was like, look, what's going on?
Yeah.
I know what's going on, but you need to get it out. And I got it out over an hour, cried, and have not had a dream like that since.
Sometimes you need to release it.
Because I haven't kept it in.
Yeah.
Because if I have to talk about it, I talk about it. And that's the biggest thing, that I thank my wife now, is I don't think I could have went through that without her.
Of course.
There's no way.
Well, and it goes to show you, man, like that person in your life, like, especially if it's the right person, like I tell Lydia all the time, I couldn't imagine life without her. And like, I fucking mean that. Everybody else I've ever dated or been engaged to, I'm like, man, like I could definitely imagine life without them.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
Nothing, that's just me being honest, but I couldn't imagine it without her. And so, you get that point. I don't know. I talk about this a lot. It's like a lot of people prioritize their kids first, but it's like, no, like your partner is number one. Mm-hmm. And that's like, people are like, oh, but you're going to put your kids first. And I'm like, nah, like Lydia's always first. And our daughter wouldn't be here without her. And so like when it gets that time and like someone's got to go, like, I don't know. I could imagine how that would make me fucking feel. It'd probably slowly kill me.
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to ask you, so do you think that your dad probably like lost the will to live at that point after it really hit him?
I think after my mom's service,
right,
we could all tell he kind of was like, what's
the point?
I want to be with her.
My love's gone. What's the point?
Yeah.
And it just, it hurt because it was kind of like he was wanting to do things, but physically he couldn't do them. And that's what killed me. Because, I mean, it was just like, my dad wants to get up, go do this, go do that, go do this, go do that. And, I mean, we went to, before all this happened, before both of them passed, like me and my brother and my dad went to a hockey game. We go to a hockey game every year. It's our Christmas tradition. We go every year. And, I mean, him being 81 years old, you ain't got the best bladder in the world.
Yeah.
And it just pissed me off hearing people laugh at my dad. Oh, God, it was just like, are you shitting me right now? And me and my brother are in Nashville, and I was like, Steven, go get the car. And, of course, my dad's wearing, like, light gray sweatpants, so it's like he spilled the beer, it's on himself. I mean, he's older. It happened. And just seeing that, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm fixing to get in a fight on Broadway over my dad.
Yeah, it's horrible.
I would definitely have gotten in a fight. I'd probably pull my knife out.
And my dad,
somebody.
and the one thing my dad said, he was like, fuck them. And I was like,
Savage to the end.
and I was like, you know what? My dad's good. My dad's still good. And it was just like, even at 81, he's still good. You know, I'm just like, no, I'm not going to worry about it. So, I mean, I think since all that has happened, I think, like personally, it's never really hit me on like how I want to live, but I want, you know, I've always wanted my parents to be proud for me.
Yeah.
On what I do. But I think since them passing, it's taken it to a whole nother level of every day I want to do something that my parents will be proud of.
Of course.
Yeah.
Do you think you're accomplishing that?
I do.
Oh yeah.
I do.
Good.
I do. I mean, and my parents would say, you're crazy as shit for getting up that early. But it's the little comments they would make. It's just kind of like how we were, you know, it was, and I want them to be proud. I don't want to do anything that would piss my mom off, if I can say that. And even though she's not here, she is here. But, you know, my mom was the dictator. She was the disciplinarian of our house. And I mean, my brother, my sister, both of my sisters will tell you it was mom's way, and that was it.
Yeah.
That's it.
She had to deal with all you guys.
Get some switches growing up? Get some switches?
Oh, no. Not
switches?
switches. Hot wheel track.
Hot wheel track? Damn.
Nice.
Damn. That's creative right there.
About 2.5, 3 feet hot wheel track.
That is
And
creative.
it's not like I got hit in the ass. I got hit in the back of the leg.
Nice.
So it didn't matter what chair you sat in for the next week.
Oh, yeah.
You felt it. And I didn't get whooped much.
Yeah.
Because, my mom started counting, and if she ever got to 3, we were screwed.
Nice.
Didn't matter where we were. She wouldn't forget. So, and I saw how they grew up, and I saw how the family dynamic was, and it was just, that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
That's how it's supposed to be.
Well, obviously I want to continue. There's so much more to gather, right? But we're getting towards the end of this segment. And so it's been, I don't know, man. I just know your journey so well. It was so well said, and how you just explained everything. I'm like, dude, and you said, I've been thinking about this for the past week, and it's obvious, man. It's pretty cool. Because I was just kind of like sitting back listening to a story just unfold and not really have to say much, man. And I appreciate you sharing like everything that you have shared. And obviously, hopefully we do this again someday.
Yeah.
We've got like 6,000 more episodes to go.
We'll find a spot for you in there somewhere.
But I do want to know, well, first of all, is there anything else you want to pinpoint on before we come to a close?
No, I think I've about said everything I need to that I've went through.
Can I ask one thing, Joe?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just want to, with the parents thing, I was just going to say, do you have like maybe a quick takeaway from going through that experience, like for people that are either going through it or
You got it. No matter what, don't hold shit in. It will absolutely it'll wear you down to where you don't want to talk. I mean, most guys don't want to say, I don't want to talk. I'm afraid to cry. I don't give two shits.
Yeah.
If I'm going to talk about my mom and I'm going to talk about my dad, it's about 99% sure I'm going to cry. I'm going to be honest. With that, my dad, to me, was the toughest guy, was the most kind, hardest person. He would cry at Extreme Home Makeover. He would cry at Undercover Boss.
Dude, same.
Me and Joe love that shit.
And he would. And it's just seeing that and seeing, I think the biggest thing was when I talked about it, I did not realize how many people were around me that my parents impacted.
Yeah.
Like I got 2 of the girls that work out at the gym with us. Neither one of them, my parents ran a Montessori school, so they ran a preschool. for the church, and they couldn't speak English when they started this class, when they started the school. Both of my parents taught them to speak English. One's Russian and one's Emily. I'm sorry. I think Chinese. I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly what orientation she is, and she's going to kill me for this. I know she is, but it's just hearing how many lives my parents impacted on stuff that I didn't even know about. It made me even, if I could be prouder of my parents, and any time that something comes up, I know I don't need to hold it in. That's my outtake to anybody. If you go through somebody passing that you love, don't hold it in. Find somebody to talk to.
Yep.
You got to.
That's very common advice that we get on here. Talk to somebody.
Yeah, dude. It's just like they've gone, so you need to let that go with them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and you can't let all of it go because there's going to be,
we're going to have reminders.
I can be watching a show.
Yeah.
And it's just like, damn, that's my dad. And just start crying. And it's not even a thought, and I wouldn't care if I was in a room full of people. That's my dad.
Yeah.
I mean, that's him. It don't matter. Yeah.
It makes me want to cry thinking about it myself, to be honest.
Yeah, I feel you there, man. Well, that was a really good takeaway to finalize the episode, and because there's a lot of people going through it. I know, I thought, my father and stuff, like kind of what he's dealing with and everything. So he's gonna need to let it out. Mm-hmm. He's hearing this, so I'm gonna open that door. But at the end of the day, man, I really do appreciate you, Brian. You've been such a massive support of RP. If I had time, I'd be like, well, why do you want to be a part of RP or what? We could talk about that on the next thing.
Okay.
But and yeah, I don't know. You got anything else, Logan?
No, I was just gonna say. We just, like we said off camera, we just appreciate the shit out of you. We appreciate you a lot more than you realize it. We appreciate it because we have. There's been other cases as well, but you're probably the top one, and you've listened to us talk about this on the podcast before. But we're pursuing something, and it can be difficult, and there can be times that maybe we don't have the gas in the tank, literally or figuratively, mm-hmm. and having people like you, dude, really, really makes a difference. Because at the end of the day, that's why we're trying to run businesses and et cetera, et cetera. But, you see the last few episodes, and it's like, this is why we're doing this.
Yep.
And you are the perfect example of that. Number one, because you support, right?
Yeah.
So you're listening to the other stories, and you're putting them out there to other people and saying, these are stories that need to be listened to. But
you're living it.
And you've lived it, and now you've shared your story. And so you're the epitome of everything that why we do what we do.
Well, I appreciate the hell out of you guys, too.
Fuck yeah, dude. Honored to have you here, bro.
Honored to be here.
Hell yeah. Well, that'll be it. Thank you, guys. Good work.
We'll see you next time.